Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Katie Ferguson from Cottage Paper, and today I want to show you how to make a double card fun fold. I don't usually make fun fold cards, but I think this one's a little bit unique. It's really easy to make. I think it makes a big impression, and it can be used for all kinds of occasions. Here's the card we're making today. Now, on first glance, it might just appear like a regular flat card, but here's where the fun fold part comes in. This piece right here opens on the right, like that, and then this one here, and then you can have your message right here. It folds back up like this. And it does stand up. That's one of my criteria, because I like cards that stand up. You of course cannot really see it, but you can tell it's standing up. So here's how we make it. First, we take a piece of cardstock that is 9 3/4 by 4 1/4, and we're going to score it along the long side at 4 1/4 right here. And when we do that, I'll go ahead and fold it, burnish it with my bone folder, and it really is the size of a regular card. It just has 1 1/4 cut off. So this is the first card. We'll put that aside, and then this is the second card, and it is 8 1/2 by 3 1/4. If you were making it multiples of this, which I have done, you could take your regular 8 1/2 piece of cardstock and just cut off 3 1/4 widths of it, and you can get 3 of these out of one 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock. Of course, you can get 2 of these out of one 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock. Now, let's fold this. So this is the second card. But of course, as you're going to see, we're going to assemble it like this, and I will talk to you about how to do that. So that's how we'll end up with it. Now we're going to decorate it. Now what I chose to use to decorate it was paper from the Textured Sheet DSP, Stampin' Up's Textured Sheet DSP. And the Textured Sheet DSP is on page 134 of the Stampin' Up! Annual 22-23 catalog. And here it is right here. I don't know how well you can see it, but I'm going to show you the papers. So this is the Texture Chic. And in addition to the papers that we're going to use today, these two, here's the back side, here's the top side. As you see, each side has a shiny foil side. Here's what we have. We have this one that has the gold dots, and on the back it has shells. I love these colors. These are my colors. That's probably one of the reasons I like this so much. Here's this one. That's sort of an evening evergreen with foil, and on the back it has snowflakes. Here's this one that's kind of pool party in gold. And on the back it has a wood grain, or I guess that's not a wood grain. I guess it's panels of wood. Here's this one, again with foil on one side. And on the other side it just has flowers. And then this is the one we're getting ready to use, which on the back has this design. And on this design, it's a leaf design. I thought it was very appropriate to today. This week is the first day of fall, so I thought it was very appropriate to use paper that had leaves on it. So this has, I really like this brown leaf right here. Has an orange leaf here, has a pink leaf here. It's not exactly traditional fall colors, but in some ways it kind of is. But again, these are my colors, so I love them. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to glue the base piece, the piece that's in the back, but of course that shows, and then when you open up it shows even more. And I'm going to confirm what this is. Textured gold, I think. Let me show you that paper. Oh, I'm sorry, Distress Gold. I should have known that. Distress Gold, and here it is. It's on page 139 of the 22-23 annual catalog. I don't know if my camera will focus if I move it up, but there it is right there. And this is fabulous paper. And I was realizing tonight, I think this is the last piece I've got. so I hope I don't do anything wrong. I need to order more, but it's just such a, I just love it. I just love it. I love it, I love it. It's just a nice gold. So we're going to glue that down. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time gluing it down. You know how to apply glue. So we're going to glue it down. I will say this, I do think this is a great candidate. I've really learned to love my Tombow multi-liquid glue. At first I didn't like to use it because it was kind of messy. And you do have to kind of learn to use it. But it is so forgiving because you can, even if I covered this whole thing with glue, you can slide it around and get it just like you want it before you finally push it all down. So that's the base piece. And then on the front, I use this. And all this paper is distressed to a certain extent. So on this piece is 5 1/4 by 4. So it's a 1/4 inch shorter and a 1/4 inch wider. This piece is 4 by 4 square. And you could make it a little bit bigger if you wanted to, but this way you get the most paper out of your 12 by 12 if you cut it in strips of 4. So I'm going to kind of look at this and see, I think that's the best approach. So I'm going to, again, to save some time here, I'm going to have you watch me adhere glue, apply glue. So there's that. And then we have our second card. And we need to remember, don't get confused, it goes on this side, which we normally would think of as the back. We would think it would open like this. But this one opens like this. So now, our paper for the most part doesn't really have a direction. So if you got it on the wrong side, if you accidentally put it on the wrong side, let's go on this one. If your paper didn't have direction, you could just turn it over and it'd be fine. But you need to pay attention to that. Keep your wits about you, which I'm not always the best at. And this leaf paper does not have a direction, but each individual little piece, if you start cutting it little pieces, more of the leaves will be facing in one direction. I really like this brown one facing, what I would say, facing up. So I wanted to put it on there this way. Okay, now, then we're going to adhere this to the base. We'll put some adhesive on that. Again, I'm not going to have you watch me apply glue. Now, I did this today with my card class, and somebody said, don't we not need to be careful about how it lines up with this? But if you will center it left and right, top and bottom, and again with this with multi-purpose adhesive, you have some wiggle room, and make sure it looks even on both sides. Then open it up and make sure it looks right. Sometimes just a little fraction of a millimeter can make a difference. So you want to be sure it looks straight, because your cardstock isn't always cut perfectly. Now that looks a little bit low. So I'm just going to keep playing with it. Or maybe not. Now your multi-purpose glue, you can pick it up when you're still playing with it. You can pick it up. I've done it more than once. If you don't wait too long and you don't press too hard. Now that looks centered. Let's look at this. That looks centered. Yes. So then you smooth that down. So there is that. Now we want to have a sentiment inside, of course. And so this is the piece that goes inside. It's again, 1/4 inch smaller in all directions from this little card. So it would be, this piece would be 3 by 4. Let me confirm that. 4 by 3. So this is 3 by 4. We're going to adhere that right here. Now, get a little wiggle room. Now, the first time I made one with similar papers, these places here kind of bothered me. So what I did was I took some more of this and adhered it here. I took more of this and adhered it here. On another card I had, I wanted to write more of a sentiment. It was for a very special birthday, and this wasn't big enough. So I cut another piece I could put over here if you wanted to. Another piece that you could put here. Or you could put a piece of this paper here and just have these two. Or you can leave the whole, you can just leave it like it is. There are all kinds of options. So then for my sentiment, what I used was a sentiment from Charming Sentiments, which is a new stamp set. It's a new $1 Million Achiever stamp set from Lisa Curcio. And I chose Wishing You the Happiest of Birthdays. Now, this set has dies that go with it, and they will make it look like it's like you fussy cut it out. But when I did it with on the pool party with the gold, it just didn't. There wasn't enough contrast. It's not like if you had black cardstock and white ink. It just wasn't enough contrast, and the text got kind of lost. So I didn't. That's why I didn't do that for this. I just went ahead and cut it out. This is an old, I think, retired label punch I had. You could just cut a rectangular strip. You could cut a rectangular strip and make a flag on each end. You can make it cut a little diagonal in each side. You can do it all kinds of different ways. So then I put dimensionals on the back because I wanted it to pop up a little bit. And I centered it, depending on what your sentiment was, you could put it in a different part of the card. I think for this sentiment, for the size of the sentiment, the dimensions of it, it probably needs to be centered. So I centered it. So there you are. There you are. So that's the double fold fun card. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you make some of these. I hope you'll try it. Once you get 3 pieces of paper of DSP, and you wouldn't have to have something like the gold, but I do think probably the base piece of paper needs to be something with a very small design in it. But once you pick out those pieces of paper, it's just so much fun to make, and I hope you all try it. I hope you enjoy making it. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.